Hello everyone, my name's Pengi, and today I'm presenting my interpretation of the Heaven Official's Blessing, Tian Guan Ci Fu world map. The series author, Moxiang Tongxiu, also known as MXTX, approaches geography differently in each of her three major Danmei series. To compare the two extremes, the geography of Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation is heavily based on historical maps of China and calls out many real-life locations by name, and the geography of the Scum Villain's self-saving system is incoherent nonsense pulled from the depths of a Coomer's mind. Heaven Official's Blessing is somewhere in the middle. There are few real-life locations, but the kingdoms in TGCF are inspired by common tropes from Chinese literature. Even if they aren't explicitly told where a kingdom is, Chinese readers will have a rough idea of where they should go. A few disclaimers before we start. I'm the editor on the 7 Seas English release of the TGCF novels. The theories in this video are based on evidence from the books themselves, as well as some real-life historic and geographic notes when appropriate. However, please note that they are in fact only my own theories, helped along with a large dosage of advice from translator Suika. They should not be considered official, as this isn't affiliated with or endorsed by MXTX or 7 Seas. Finally, please forgive any errors regarding my pronunciation of names and terms, as I'm not a native speaker. This video contains vague book spoilers up to and including the final English volume, Volume 8. Donghua-only watchers, please beware. I've tried to be less specific about plot elements when I can, but if you want to experience the full story solely through the animated series, wow, you'll be waiting a long time, won't you? May I offer a book recommendation? The most prosperous land in real-life China, that is, the most resource-rich land with the most advantageous geography and climate, is in the Central Plains and eastward. This area was also home to most historical capitals. Thus, the kingdoms known for their wealth, Shanle and Yong'an, are located in the east. The south has a rainy climate and is where most rice is grown, and Yushi is thus likely in the south. Thanks to frequent historical invasions from the lands north of China, northerners are stereotyped as being eager to fight. It then follows that Schley, whose main claim to fame was its military, is in the north. Let's lay out some of the other things we know for sure so we can construct a map. Several of these kingdoms have overlapping territory because they rise, fall, and invade each other. Some don't even exist at the same time as the others, and none of them are still in existence in the present timeline of the novel. None of the present-day kingdoms are given names. The kingdoms of Shanle, Schley, and Yushi all existed at the same time, and fell within a few decades of each other. The kingdom of Yong'an likely snatched up a lot of their territory, since it came into existence directly afterward. The kingdom of Banyue existed at the same time as Yong'an, and fell around 200 years before the book's present timeline starts. Yong'an was on its last legs at this point, and fell itself not long after. Now let's start breaking things down individually and build our map. The base I used is pulled from public domain current world maps. If you think using a modern-day map for this damages my credentials, then please draft a well-sourced and compellingly argued essay on which real-life dynasty best resembles a world where cum-powered Gundams exist, and drop it in the comments. The kingdom of Shanle was located in the east and bordered Yushi to the north. As a preemptive note to clear up the inevitable confusion, Fengshen and Muqing split the south for their territories, as they are the martial gods of the southwest and southeast, respectively. One can theorize that their post-banishment travels took them away from the eastern Shanla area. The kingdom of Schley was located in the north, and Peiming is the martial god of the north. This is also the location of Mount Yuzhun, where the Ghost Bride arc took place. The kingdom of Yuxi was located in the south, and bordered Shanla as per Shalian's comments in Shanla Arc 1. The kingdom of Yuxi was taken over by Schley just before the first Shanla arc started. Regarding the Rainmaster's present-day domain, which is also called Yuxi, it was named as such in reference to her title as the god of rain, not the fallen kingdom. Yuxi literally means Rainmaster. The domain of Yuxi, that is, the domain of the Rainmaster, is a physical location in the mortal realm that humans can reach. Due to its climate, it can be assumed that it's on territory that once belonged to the Rainmaster's kingdom. The kingdom of Yong'an was located in the east, and Longchengchu is the martial god of the east. It bordered the Gobi Desert and Banyue and possessed most, if not all, of Shanla's former territory. The kingdom of Banyue was located in the real-life Gobi Desert and was built on an oasis. It bordered Yong'an and frequently had disputes over territory. The kingdom from which Yinyu and Xuanyizhen originate is never named, but it can be assumed to have been in the west, as Xuanyizhen is the martial god of the west and Yinyu used to be. The mountainous western lands are generally rather barren, much like Yinyu's future. The kingdom of Wuyang existed 2,000 years ago and is essentially lost to history. Mount Tonglu was at the center of Wuyang, and in the present day, it's kind of in its own Silent Hill-esque nightmare dimension. There's no stated physical location for Wuyang, but it's a good hike away from present-day civilization. It took Shilian and Huacheng almost 2 weeks' worth of foot travel to get there from the Puchi village area. Volume 5 of the Seven Seas release states over a dozen days. As far as my own theories, I suspect MXTX might have been inspired by the millennial eruption of Mount Pike II, also known as Mount Shangbai, when writing about Mount Tonglu, due to similarities in the level of violence and disruption. The real-life volcano's eruption was so powerful that it blew most of the mountain's summit clean off, leaving behind a caldera that has become a lake. On a more meta level, Mount Shangbai, or Mount Everwhite, is a rather fitting place of origin for a certain little rascal in a mask. Changbai is on the border of China and North Korea, so the fictional Kingdom of Wuyang's territories could have included the Korean peninsula, or their attempted outward expansion pre-volcano could have targeted the Korean peninsula, which would hardly be a surprise. All we know about the ruling dynasty in the novel's present timeline is that it exists. Its name is never specified. The kingdom's capital is most notable for being home to Shi Qingshuan's favorite nightclubs. It's probably in the east if we're going by genre tropes, and probably rules over the territory that contains Puchi village, judging by proximity. If we start from Wuyang's theoretical location near the Korean peninsula and work backward from the 2-week journey it took to get there on foot, a well-trained person can cover around 400 miles on foot in 2 weeks. This puts the current imperial capital around where Beijing is in the real-life present day. Puchi village is a dinky little farming village in the middle of nowhere, though the novel's events indicate that a fairly bustling town is nearby. It seems to be within reasonable walking distance of the imperial capital, as Shi Qingshuan was able to walk there before the ending party at Puchi Shrine. Fugu is a mid-sized town in the middle of somewhere, and is most notable for being the spot where Hexuan went on his rampage and died. The Terrace of Cascading Wine, where Shi Qingshuan ascended after throwing a drink in someone's face, is nearby. Xiwudu rules over the East Sea, which ties in with my previous comments on the wealthy areas. Xiwudu is the water master as well as the god of wealth, and those who worship him pray for his favor in shipping and trading. Now that we have the mortal realm out of the way, we can address the location of some outlier spots in other realms. These obviously are difficult to place on a standard map, so please use your imagination. The Heavenly Realm is the realm of the gods, and is located in the sky many miles up. The Heavenly Capital is the central hub city of the realm, where gods and other heavenly officials hold court. Unlike the Ghost Realm, which is in its own dimension, the Heavenly Realm can be reached from the mortal realm by things like lanterns. The Heavenly Capital is held aloft by Junwu's power, and can be moved on his command, as well as reshaped into Gundams and Gundam accessories. The Ghost Realm is the realm of the dead, so it's not bound to a physical location in the mortal realm. If it has to be placed somewhere, one can say that it's slightly to the left of the human world. Normal people get there by dying or accidentally cha-cha sliding across the veil, and heavenly officials and people who possess high levels of cultivation can navigate there independently. Common ways to access it include following ghosts from their home graveyards, as Shulian and Shiqingquan did during the Ghost City arc, or accessing it via dreams, as Shulian did when hunting the Silent Hill Sync fetus. Ghost City exists within the larger Ghost Realm and is able to move around said realm, as stated during the Ghost City arc. It was in the east during the events of that arc, as that's the direction from which Mingyi's ascending fire dragon spell came. As the ruler and lord of the city, Huacheng can steal it off from the rest of the world if he chooses, much like Junwu is able to do with the Heavenly Capital. Literary parallels are a funny thing like that. Regarding other city landmarks, Paradise Manor is located in a quiet, forested area of Ghost City, as is Thousand Lights Temple. Very important to have privacy for calligraphy lessons. The book isn't clear where Qirong's lair is, but it's in a mountainous area and includes a cave network. It may not be in the Ghost Realm at all, considering Qirong's wimpy minions are able to kidnap large groups of humans to bring back. They might not have the magical strength to pull off such large-scale abductions if they had to cross realms. The Blackwater Demon Lair is stated to be in the South Sea, and is outside the area of which Xiwudu has control of the waters. In Chinese myth, merfolk live in the South Sea and cry tears that turn into pearls. One has to assume that He Xuan has cried enough over the years that he could get that debt to Huacheng sorted out, but I guess some people just can never wrap their heads around proper financial management. I realized that this video is rather low on Hualian content, which does much bigger numbers than a geography lecture. Please enjoy this digression so I can put Hualian in the tags.
Hi, my name is Crimson Immor Sunlung Flower City, and I have long ebony black hair with red streaks and red tips that reaches my mid-back and red eyes like limpid tears. I'm not related to my Gaga, but I wish I was because he's a major fucking hottie. I'm a ghost king, but my teeth are straight and white. I have pale white skin. I'm also a supreme, and I live in a city called Ghost Vegas, where I'm the mayor. I'm 800 years old. I'm a goth, in case you couldn't tell, and I wear mostly red. For example, today I was wearing a red corset with matching lace around it, and a black leather miniskirt, red fishnets, and black stiletto boots. I was wearing red lipstick, red eyeliner, and red eyeshadow. I was walking outside Puchi Shrine. It was snowing and raining, so there was no sun, which I was very happy about. A lot of gods stared at me. I put up my middle finger at them. "Hey, Sanlang!" shouted a voice. I looked up. It was His Highness Hualian. "What's up, Gaga?" I asked. "Nothing," he said shyly. But then I heard my personal assistant call me, and I had to go away.
I hope this helped you, and if it didn't, sorry. I'm making a 4-hour-long video essay on the full Heaven Officials Blessing timeline, so you should subscribe for that at the very least. Bye now.